Self-responsibility is bullshit. Now, from that title, or that name, it sounds like I believe completely self-responsibility is BS. Not complete, but putting it on others is BS. First of all, this idea of people, of especially oppressed people like women, people of color, especially for people of color, because I know more about that, it has been peddled for centuries. I mean, in 1883, the Supreme Court said, and I quote, like in response to since slavery was supposed to be abolished in 65, they said, and I quote, when it comes to the Civil Rights Act, when a man has emerged from slavery and, by the aid of beneficent legislation, has shaken out the insufferable concubines of that state, there must be some stage in the progress of his elevation where he takes the rank of a mere citizen and ceases to be the special favorite of the laws. And when his rights as a citizen or a man are to be protected in the ordinary modes in which other men's rights are protected. In 1883, the highest court of the entire country was saying that black people and white people were equals and treated as equals. In 1883, almost 150 years ago, we know that's not the case. I mean, Jim Crow, black codes, comically seen, peonage, so much was there. Why are we gonna assume it's any different now? History always repeats itself. Once you learn about history, you see that everything relates. You see these same people popping up over and over and over again. The same kinds of people that rise to power. The similarities would shock you. Yes, you could say that things have changed, but I would not say it is. Let me give us an analogy, like with a broken leg. Let's say you're in a race and you lose. You're not gonna complete. You can't fully put the blame on you, the person, or at least other people should not put all the blame on you, the person. You have to understand you broke your limb. I mean, it's broken. It's still damaged. Like it's never gonna come back to full function. I mean, how is that supposed to happen? How are you gonna say it's purely your fault when there's extra circumstances that make it just not? It's just not true. It's the same thing now. Look at like the even more directly, like the war on drugs, like Oliver North. How they literally sent the drugs over military planes into the U.S. The CIA sent the cocaine and crack into the inner cities, specifically targeted minority neighborhoods. Are we really gonna pretend like it's their fault? They were giving it. They were literally giving it. And we're gonna say that they should have moved on. How are they supposed to have? Because communities have been so disrupted. Our communities have been so disrupted by these drugs. Lost so many fathers, sons, and brothers. We're not even talking about the mothers, sisters, and daughters as well. They were lost. Lost so much. Lost generations of people because the U.S. decided to do this to their own people. How are we supposed to move on if you never made up for it? I haven't even said sorry. The things are here, and we expect the people to change without helping them at all. It's just a cop out. It's just a pure cop out to avoid giving sympathy and just push it to the side. Just say it's not my problem. You should be better. You should have done it. Whatever. It shows such a lack of sympathy, such a lack of empathy, and it's peddled a lot. But like people were pretty influential, like Ben Shapiro, Prager University, a lot of conservative news outlets and representatives push this idea of self responsibility. That, oh, well, slavery happened so long ago. I especially don't buy that argument because it's been said for so many decades. I mean, that argument was said while slavery was still legal. And I'd say it is still legal, as I've said before about prison and whatnot. It's just so strange how we keep buying to this individualistic idea that if someone fails, it's because of their own failings. That it's completely them, nothing else. Not taking account at all the situations they're born into, government surrounding the general society around them. It just feels so ignorant. Or one that's slightly different, but still the umbrella of individual choice: climate change. They've tried to shift the blame from these big oil companies that are actually doing like the vast majority of the harm onto the individuals, forcing us to be the ones to actually make the sacrifices, forcing us to be the ones to live greener, to use less. When what we do individually, it's a drop in. It's not even a drop in the bucket. It's less than that. It's like half a drop in the bucket, a quarter, a fat, even less. It's so minuscule compared to what these oil companies are doing, and they just shift the blame to us so that they don't have to deal with the repercussions, so that they don't have to pay for it or anything. And we need to stop listening to it. Now, with all this being said, I think that individuals should think of our lives in a more self-responsibility way. It's very freeing to be like, I have control of my own life. If I made it, it's because of me. But if I failed, I just need to get better. I think that is very good, very constructive. I just don't think it should be applied to other people. We should have sympathy for other people as well as yourself. You should also look to have at least some level of sympathy for yourself. But it is good to have this mentality, but it shouldn't be forced on everyone else. It shouldn't say, it's just a way to avoid the conversations. It's a way to avoid listening and opening up to new ideas. Just hear them out. Hear us out. Don't just say, oh, it's your fault, and ignore all the facts, the statistics, the everything. Don't do that. So ignorant. But also, don't just wallow in self-defeat. Let you yourself fall into complacency and just be a loser. It's gray. Just like everything else in life. The answer. The answer is gray.